Alrighty.
Yo.
Hello. How we doing, Cal? All right, let's see here. BTJ Masterclass tonight. I don't know about that.
Yo.
But I want to go ahead and get started into these team reviews.
Cool.
Knock them out.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's see here. Kyler Murray, Achon, Mason, Amari Cooper, Olave. Yeah, I mean, it's an 8-man. I don't really have much notes for 8-man teams. Like, you're going to have really strong teams. Yeah, this is stacked. I don't know what to tell you, Hamburger. Nice. Moving on, let's see here. 7-man. What?
I think these are the only two tiny ones of the review.
Yeah, the team's fine. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, you have a ridiculous squad. Congratulations. Let's see here. Kyler Murray, Achon, Breece Hall, Devonta Adams, George Pickens, Trey McBride, Jahmyr Gibbs. Love the running backs. Another really, really strong team. Not much to be said here. In theory, try to improve your receivers to something more consistent. But that's about it. Like, you can always pivot off of Jordan Mason if need be with one of these receivers and upgrade there. Outside of that, another really, really, really strong team.
Depends on your record. Maybe that's something we can start asking people what their record is too, because I feel like that affects the way you handle certain situations. Like with Cup or a Mason or something. Like if you're, let's say 3-0, I would trade Mason to get something that's going to help you in the playoffs and trade him to someone who's like 0-3 or someone that needs wins now and capitalize on that situation. So
yeah,
there are ways to maneuver it.
For tonight's lineups, I'm not really building just yet. Got to look into that. But it's a weird slate. Should you trade Laporta? Don't have much faith in him. I mean, if you don't have much faith in him, how much faith do you think your league mates probably have in him at this point? Like, you're just not going to be getting like even close to the value that you spent on him back. That's kind of the big issue with trading away Laporta. Let's see here. Mahomes, Connor, Jacobs, Collins, Amon St. Brown, Mark Andrews, who's just completely that's surprising to me how much he's fallen off a cliff. But yeah, in theory, like, build up your running backs, but these are higher usage guys. They're going to be more than fine. I'm not concerned. Bucky Irving's becoming a thing, so that's fun as well. Yeah, solid squad.
Yeah, is Rashad just screwed now, you think?
Yeah, that's how it seems. Like, I don't think that it's Rashad's show anymore. I mean, they also lost that game too, so it's like,
yeah,
he was inefficient and they lost. 2 negatives. Not good. Mayfield, Connor, Cook, Hill, Metcalf, Kincaid, Etienne. Yeah, kind of same theme here. James Cook in theory will be good tonight. Not really expecting anything particularly crazy out of him. Tyreek Hill is just not really in a fun spot, unfortunately, right now. There's not really much to be done there, unless they switch quarterback play up a bit. Etienne should be fine tonight. Deontay is a start going forward. Yeah, I just try to be consolidating these running back trails into something more consistent. But overall, like, this is a really strong squad. Just receivers are unfortunately our receivers in a bad spot right now. I'd say that another strong squad. Not really much to do with the bench either. Hurts, Hall, Mason, Yoshivas, Ayuk. I would be moving Yoshivas for sure out of the starting lineup here. Let's see. Akers, unfortunately, I had to go with him this weekend. Josh Allen, Superflex, that's fine. Pittman, yeah, that's anything but ideal. Can't really sell him for anything at this point. Thielen got injured pretty much immediately. Keon, we'll see how he does tonight. I would prefer to have him in over Yoshivas personally.
Yoshivas.
Chuba, honestly, you can sell high on him, and I would encourage to do so. And try to get build up your flex spot here because that's the area that needs the most help. I don't mind tearing down from Hurts either with this squad. That's just how I would go about it because you need better RB2 production for consistency, and you need better whatchamacallit. Like you can get better point per dollar because your quarterbacks are so elite technically. I think you can find better value to fill out this squad to make it a little bit more whole.
Yeah, how'd you get both those guys?
Because you shouldn't have to rely on Yo Shabazz / Akers to fill in your flexes. You should have.
That's why maybe you keep Chuba / Jonathan Brooks, who's on his IR, and that turns into one of your flex spots. One of those two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the sell high is he's not going to have a game like that again, most likely. So.
Yeah, all depends on what you can get at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the next squad. I'm curious what site this is that does it like this.
NFL.
That's the only thing that makes sense. Josh Allen, Saquon, Najee, Devontae, CD, Kincaid, Amari. Yeah, Pacheco's Cook, Jonathan Brooks is fun upside, BTJ fun upside, Deontay Johnson, paying for having him on the bench, but is what it is. Yeah, this is a fine squad. Obviously, try to improve your RB2 here. Not really too much to be said outside of that, though. I like the squad. As we talked about, Brooks is probably a guy who's going to come along and get better and better and better. It's just more of a question mark of when is that really going to be? Will the Panthers stay consistent? Find out next time they play.
Pacheco there. What was your take on the Chiefs running back room last night?
Xavier Worthy is of interest now, or more interest, just because they're going to get more
That's not where I thought that was going. He's going to touch the ball more, but
that's just kind of how I see it, though, with these running backs. It's part of why I like Jaden Reed, and I was just if they don't have the running back, they're probably just going to be utilizing the guy out of the backfield more often. I hit a live bet last night because of that. I was like, plus 250 or whatever to get another touch, get one more yard. That's what it was. It was him to get one more yard. It was plus 350. And I was like, okay, I think he'll get one more rushing attempt this game. So I think he'll go one more yard and bang.
Yeah. I mean, Steele did get 18 carries, which is enticing, but he's just not going to be involved in the passing game at all. So his ceiling is somewhat limited.
It's going to take time for him to get there. I was hoping he'd get in the touch. I feel like they were going to try to get him in the a touchdown for his missing his sister's wedding or whatever it was. But I don't know. Unfortunately, they did not gift him that.
Well.
He did play well.
They tried. He got a goal line carry and lost yards.
Damn you, Kyle Pitts, for not getting in the red zone. So
that
close.
Was PI.
So close. Dude, he also had that 50-yard bomb where he just didn't he was right there.
Dude, oh my God, Wells. I had a parlay.
He got tackled in midair.
I had Kyle Pitts to score, Chiefs to win, and Atlanta to cover a 6-point spread, and it would have been so filthy.
Perfect. Yeah. I was rather annoyed as well. I've just been running bad with those guys in the end zone. I had Mike Williams the other day as well, and he drops both of his red zone targets. I'm like, great. But Deontay Johnson, 10-1, 8 receptions. Love that.
Yeah.
Moving forward, we got Richardson, Achane, Mason, Lamb, Rice, McBride, Gibbs. Yeah, another really strong team. Game over. Congratulations. I don't really have anything to be saying here. This is a really, really strong team. Unfortunately, Zamir White was not able to get into a run-dominant game script. I don't know what the Raiders are doing at this point. It'll be interesting to see how they move forward. Because Antonio Pierce basically made it sound like he's getting rid of some people. So we'll see how that works. What did you see as a Raiders fan, Grant?
We're doing this? I mean, bad. I'm not
saying what is Antonio Pierce referring to specifically?
The defense was just horrendous. I mean, I think it's probably defensive players, probably a little bit of Devontae Adams, maybe the OC Luke Getsy. I think there's a lot of possibilities. A lot of people were saying it was Minshew. I don't think it was him at all.
I feel like that's the big stretch.
So they threw in a new quarterback. I don't think it's
that's
him.
The one that I think is a stretch. I think that's we know the game's over. Basically, get the starter out right now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, I'm not. I don't know. I hope we lose.
I just thought that quote was very interesting. So I did want to hear your take on that because I was like, who the hell is he referring to?
It's not something that you see a head coach say too often either.
Oh yeah,
There were definitely routes that Devontae was kind of like not really running to his full ability. That I think he could be talking about that. He could be talking about defensive players that just like didn't want to tackle in the second half or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was a bad game. I am in full tank mode, so
that's fair. I wasn't sure if it was like, oh, this is like Devonta Adams basically demanding a trade type deal or not. I wasn't sure if that was the immediate impression.
I don't think so. I do think we should trade him at some point, but I don't know that he did that yesterday or not. But yeah,
fair enough. Well, Brock Bowers is still a top 10 tight end with 7.1 fantasy points. That's all that matters. So, yeah. But I was sad about the Zamir White thing, man. I was really hyped for that day. I was like, you know what? They should be able to get in a good enough game script where this works both ways.
The whole first drive, he looked pretty good. And then they just like were down too much where they couldn't hand the ball off.
Well, yeah, Andy Dalton decided to turn into Burrow. So
yeah, Zamir got like one carry in the second half. So it was just bad.
Yeah. But we move.
Grant, you mind dropping the Discord link in YouTube chat? Cool.
Yeah.
Let's see here. All right. So next one we have Jordan Love, David Montgomery, Jonathan Taylor, Brandon Ayuk, Rashee Rice, Trey McBride, Jameson Williams. Raiders defense, Kami Fairbairn, Chase Brown, Derek Carr, Romeo Doubs, Lat McConkey, P. Ryan, Waddle, Whittington. This was something that's like he didn't do shit realistically.
No, he was like blocking, like he was part of the offense, but he wasn't catching.
Well, that was the nice thing is like, oh, you're like, damn, like he actually blocks really well. So that means he's probably going to be on the field realistically a lot more going forward. But like, yeah, if you're not getting receptions for fantasy, that's just not as fun, which is annoying. Like every elite tight end got injured this week, or they were Mark Andrews and ran 3 or 4 routes, which is just
or they were Travis,
or Kelsey
just washed.
Yeah, I also listen. It's hilarious, like that. Everything that Reed is saying is just like, well, the defense keeps taking away Travis Kelsey. No, they're not. They're not.
Maybe they should take away Rashee Rice and not give up like 130 yards every game.
Like my Rashee Rice take is looking better and better by the day, but like my God, like maybe like figure out a way to bracket or something Rashee Rice because he is just constantly open.
He might be the wide receiver 1.
He might be. Like my dark horse take for that is looking good. My offensive player of the year one, I'm just each day I get more and more giddy looking at the closing line. I got 90-1. It's now at 25-1. So let's keep pumping it up. Let's forget about those charges and let's keep it pumping up. Let something happen to Saquon. Let him chill out for a little. All right, we need him to calm down because I think he's kind of the runaway candidate for being real.
Yeah. Did you see? I think Matty Betts put a K to win 30K on Saquon, offensive player of the year.
God, he takes like every casual wager there is. I don't know how else to put it. Like every single one, it's just like, and it's like, don't get me wrong, it's the right take, but it's just like, God, that's. It's the chalk. Yeah. It's like when Dave Portnoy put a lot of money on the Celtics and Scotty Scheffler to win stuff. It's like
and the fever.
It's like that's what you should be expecting to happen.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just good chalk. You could chalk.
Yeah. Deontay must start going forward potentially. I mean, I like the matchup a lot, and with Thielen getting hurt, I think it's a great idea. Next week,
I'd say definitely good matchups.
Yeah, next week against the Bengals, I mean, their secondary's fine, but we've seen teams be able to dice them up a little bit so far, so I would be pretty comfortable with that for sure, yeah.
Overall for this squad, though, I'd try to upgrade I don't know, like David Montgomery is just somebody like name value doesn't look like it, but like you look at the box score, 20 touches, over 100 rush yards, like 3 receptions.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about that. I think we were as a whole fantasy football community too low on his role going into this season. I think it was inevitable that he was going to be a big part of the offense still, and I feel like
15, 16 touches a game should always
me included were not. Yeah, exactly.
It's such an ugly click, but it is technically the right one because I remember looking
scores every game,
and he's just like, yeah, he's going to get in the end zone.
That Lions lateral was so filthy. The downfield lateral.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
I don't think Eckler's doing anything. Weird thing about Dan Quinn was talking about was like Brian Robinson's hands. He's really interested in Brian Robinson's hands. But That's all I really
Thoughts
do.
on
This
2-1 teams? I've got Laporta, but Pitts is on my bench. Should I be panicking?
I
No, I
think
mean
you're
that's a fine replacement. I mean Pitts has not been super exciting, but that's a fine replacement to have for a few weeks or however long this Laporta ankle injury exists.
Yeah. Outside of that, though, I like the squad for the most part. Yeah, Jamo just had a down week. It happens. Welcome to the world of fantasy football. It's really hard to get a read on who's the hyper usage guys on this squad. Moving on to the next one. About to be 1 and 2 injuries hurting. Looking for trade targets or buy lows. 12 team full PPR. So Zamir. Yep, unfortunate for him. Brenton Strange, painful. Let's see here. Hurts. So yeah, I would tear down quarterback.
Yeah,
That's the first thing I would do. I would tear down. Christian Kirk was honestly a fun start today because of the matchup. But
this team is kind of sick if everyone is healthy, but
yeah, if everyone's healthy, this is a really strong squad. But like, yeah, it's just not. But yeah, I would just be trying to build up my running back core, if anything here. Like that's really all you can do. Tony Pollard needs a more competent quarterback play at this point. That is kind of hilarious. That whatchamacallit. For what it's worth, Andrews did only run 4 routes this past weekend.
Mark?
Yeah, he only ran 4 routes.
4 routes?
Yeah.
Wow. That is insane.
Like, and this is coming from somebody who did buy low on him in a league. Like, I was like, yeah, maybe Mark Andrews is finally back. No.
Wow. But it's not like Likely did anything either. That's just bizarre.
No, that's kind of my thought too. It's like Likely didn't really do much either, but I'm also kind of like, why?
Yeah.
I don't know, just a really weird weekend overall. Like Juwan Jennings went for 3 touchdowns and like 100 plus yards. Dallas Goedert 10 receptions, 170 yards.
Yeah.
Like
a lot of randos.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. Tony Pollard's
Who's someone that you would buy low on this week?
Tank Dell.
I'm trying to think of
Brandon Ayuk.
That's a good idea.
Garrett Wilson. People really still look at this performance are like, no, he was awful. Like,
would you buy low on Ramondre Stevenson?
For usage wise, yeah, but it's just like I have such a hard time, like, because I'm always constant in the ebb and flow of like fantasy nerds and like trying to actually like have a quality take. And the fantasy nerd side is like number 1 running back in usage. You want that. And then like the other side of the argument is like this team is dog shit. Like they are not going to be in winning positions ever.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you kind of play that balance? And it's like, who are they playing this week?
We've also seen Antonio Gibson usage has gotten hiked by a ton last 2 games as well.
Yeah, like I can't see a reason why I'd be hyped to start like Ramondre Stevenson in this game against the 49ers.
Yeah.
Like that's very hard for me to feel.
Yeah.
But we'll see. What to do with Pacheco? Pray. That's basically the only advice I have for people that have like players that are probably going to end up being zeros at this point, or you can't really trade any value for. Just pray, because that's all you really can do.
Yeah, shout out to everyone who was able to get rid of Rashid Shaheed last week.
Facts. CJ Stroud, James Cook, Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Rashid Rice. Crazy receiving core. Love it. CeeDee Lamb is probably a great buy low candidate. I think people might like freak out at that game. One of my favorite buy low candidates is going to be Devon Achane this week. I think people are going to lose their minds over that. I also think that there's no way that they stick with Skylar Thompson. So I think I might make Waddle and Tyreek priorities as well. Let's see.
Yeah, Achane was just like weird though. Like that they were giving carries to other people, and I mean the other thing that is a positive sign though is I swear every time he had a positive gain there was a penalty. He had like probably 50 plus yards of gains on catches and runs that got called back for like random illegal formations and crazy plays. It was seemingly happening every drive.
Yeah, I don't really understand why. That game was just weird. I was expecting the Dolphins to kind of surprise a little bit this weekend, but like all my reads were just completely wrong. I looked like Booker would trend this weekend for like just the game reads. I thought the Titans defense was going to be better than it was.
Same.
I thought the Bucks were going to be able to do at least. I also thought the game was going to be competitive, which would surprise people. But like I didn't think that like it was going to be a Broncos win. And then what was the
other Denver in that one? The Titans was a bad read. I was completely on your side in that one.
I wasn't really surprised. I was surprised by the Vikings, but like I didn't think that like it was that easy of a matchup for the Texans.
Yeah.
Flores is the real deal at this point. But in reference to this
Very
game,
much
you
so.
need a different quarterback play for Tony Pollard. Like how Bryce Young got sat before Will Levis is kind of crazy.
That is
but
crazy.
I don't know. Like
Who is the
that's
Titans' backup?
I don't know. It's not Malik Willis anymore. That's for sure. Maybe that's the real issue. They really have no one. Is probably
He
what
looked
it
good
is.
yesterday.
He did. That surprised me. Ertz or Kincaid? I'd probably lean you towards Kincaid.
It's Mason Rudolph, so that's why.
That explains a lot. All right, on to the last one here. Anthony Richardson, Gibbs, Taylor, DJ Moore, Rashee Rice, Brock Bowers, Deontay Johnson, Seahawks defense. All right. Yeah, strong squad. I like it. Not really much to be said about it. Unfortunately, Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor. I wouldn't have ever done this in a draft. I would never draft Richardson and Taylor together. Just don't really see the upside personally.
Big Bucky.
But that's really about it. I like the squad a lot. DJ Moore is probably one of the best upcoming schedules here. So very big on him for the next few weeks as well. We'll see how that offense plays
Just
out.
hold with Tank Dell too, because you have Irving and Deontay Johnson that can kind of fill into that flex for a while. So just see what happens, and you could eventually try to trade off him once he heats up a little bit, or just start playing him. But yeah, very good team.
Who do they play this week? They play the Jags, which will be a really, really good spot for them. So I like that a lot personally. Mm-hmm. Trade away Jacobs, Godwin, Deontay for Saquon. I want the Jacobs, Godwin, Deontay side, Ivan. All right. But appreciate you all. Hopefully you'll find that helpful. And until next time, talk to you all later. Have a great day now. Peace.